Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 1 through 12, and we're going to talk about the man of lawlessness. So are you being deceived is kind of a good theme for asking a question for this particular video. I don't know about you guys, but it's easy to get deceived, and you got to be getting back into the book to make sure you've got everything solid. Alright, so on that note, let's go ahead and read the first verse there. Now concerning the coming of the Lord Jesus Christ and our being gathered together to him, we ask you, brothers. Alright, so this is all previously discussed by Paul, and the interesting thing too about this chapter is Paul doesn't bring up stuff for the first time. It is being reiterated because it's a false target for false teachers. Okay, so there's people saying bad things about Paul, about the church, trying to get things figured out there, and Paul reiterated, but he didn't provide any new info. So it's nothing that's like, hey, we discovered something new. False teaching by others in Thessalonica were being shared for misinformation. So bottom line there's deception going on, and Paul's saying, remember what I said before? It still applies. Okay, verse 2. Not to be quickly shaken in mind or alarmed, either by a spirit or a spoken word or a letter seeming to be from us, to the effect that the day of the Lord has come. Alright, so we know that the day of the Lord is coming. It has indeed not. Paul is clear about that, and basically he's got, once again, powers of deception going on here from other outside people that are not meaning well and not trying to get the church together. Alright, so there's three different ways they talked about there. One was the Spirit, second one was the Word, and third was a letter. So the Spirit was probably prophecy, prophets coming down and saying this is a different way than Jesus, and it was not the same way. So clearly they're getting bombarded with that. Second one is word. Logical arguments would be another way of putting that, and these people are arguing and trying to put it in different aspects or different reasoning there for it. And then finally, a letter, which is a fake, false letters being sent even from, quote, Paul, but it was not really Paul. So these people are so deceptive, they are pretending to be like Paul, sending out fake letters. Alright, so these things are all working against the Thessalonians, and Paul's ultimate thing he comes back to is the only way to succeed is remember the promises of God. Alright, he doesn't share anything brand new with them. He just says, remember your roots, go back to them. Okay, verse 3. Let no one deceive you in any way, for the day of the Lord will not come unless the rebellion comes first, and the man of lawlessness is revealed, the son of destruction. Alright. So this man of lawlessness, we're going to talk a lot about him here in a minute. And who is this guy? Is he Satan? Probably not. We're thinking that he's in, this is all being spelled out as we go here, but he's probably working for Satan at some point, and we don't know when he comes. We just know that this is kind of the ultimate enemy of Christ. Is it the Antichrist? It doesn't say. I don't know. Trying to draw people away from God is kind of the mission statement for this man of lawlessness, if you want to think of it that way. So obviously it's not going the same direction as God, and he's the son of destruction. He'll claim to be God, he'll reject God, he'll try to replace God. Basically everything he can to keep people off the truth, once again deceiving. Alright, verse 4. This is continuing about the son of destruction here. He says, who opposes and exalts himself against every so-called God or or object of worship, so that he takes his seat in the temple of God, proclaiming himself to be God. All right, so he's trying to kick God out of the way, and he is taking over as in his mind as God. Verse 5. Do you not remember that when I was still with you, I told these things? All right, so this is Paul saying, I told you about these things when I was one-on-one. Clearly, nothing has changed, and this is me reiterating or saying that, the proof is in the pudding. It hasn't changed. All right. Verse 6. And you know what is restraining him now, so that he may be revealed in his time. For the mystery of lawlessness is already at work. Only he who now restrains it will do so when he is out of the way. All right, so who is restraining this man of lawlessness? And that happens to be Jesus and God. Okay, so at no point is God being restrained or being put off to the side. He's in charge. He's sovereign the entire time. It's when God allows this person to mess things up, be deceived. And this is something that Satan is doing, not God is doing. But God isn't surprised by it. It's not being something that God can't control. However, this is part of God's plan. But obviously we've seen a lot of things like this before. And this is also being controlled by God on God's time. God's perfect, right? Okay, so it doesn't matter when Satan reveals the man of lawlessness. He's still being restrained by God for right now. Verse 8, moving on here. And then the lawlessness one will be revealed, whom the Lord Jesus will kill with the breath of his mouth and bring to nothing by the appearance of his coming. All right. If Jesus can kill this guy with his breath, and it's not the bad breath, it's just simple poof, this guy means nothing. This lawlessness guy, he's a tool basically by Satan, and that's nothing more. It's nothing that Jesus can't handle when he goes to kick Satan's butt. All right. Okay, verse 9 reads, the coming of the lawless one is by the activity of Satan, with all power and false signs and wonders, and with all wicked deception for those who are perishing, because they refuse to love the truth and to be saved. Therefore God sends them to a strong delusion, so they may believe what is false, in order that all may be condemned who did not believe the truth, but who had pleasure in unrighteousness. So if you're doing bad things and you're enjoying it and you're not following God, bad story for you. So lawlessness has no true power of its own. The lawless man, this guy's doomed for death, and it's a big thing. That's a big theme here going on, that Christ is in charge the entire time. So 3 things here. Summary: believers can relax knowing that God is in control, and he's been in control. He's going to be in control, and he's always been in control. Jesus will conquer all evil at his return, and then rejecting Jesus is not a good thing. Glad I'm not in that boat. All right, this is Don. We'll see you next time.